Hi everyone, my name is Olivia Gabrasio-Jacobowski. I am the current president and founder of the Asian Student Interracial Association, also known as ASIA, at Montana State University. I wish I could have been there for the SOLC in person, but I'm really grateful to have the opportunity today to talk to you guys and chat with you who are all future and current emerging leaders on campus. And what I hope to leave with you all today is understanding the power of collaborative leadership and how to make big ripples of impact together. And so I first wanted to start off with a reflection for you all who are leaders and part of your own student organizations. I want you to think of what inspired you to lead, to make a stand or to make a difference. And I'm sure for many of us, it started with us recognizing a need. And I can at least speak for Asia that it began with the need for a community. Since the MSU establishment in 1893, there has not been a Pan-Asian association to welcome Asian American, and Pacific Islander students, faculty, or staff on our campus. And as of 2020, there are only 641 MSU students, 59 staff, 36 faculty, and in the whole state of Montana, only 0.8% of Asians in the entire state. So this community, as you can see by the numbers, is a major minority on our campus, in the Bozeman community and throughout the state. However, the Asian community is strong both on the MSU campus and in the Bozeman community, both from business owners to scholars. And not only was representation and community the only need, but also safety and advocacy of our community. During 2020 and 2021, anti-AAPI racism swept across the country as the COVID-19 pandemic ignited anti-AAPI sentiment and xenophobic rhetoric. And our Bozeman community and Montana at large was not and is not immune to this targeted racism. And so, with all this being said, the need for both community advocacy and representation for our community evolved into the solution, and that was through the establishment of the Asian Student Interracial Association, MSU's first Pan-Asian association. Centered by our mission and vision, since our establishment, we have worked to fulfill a very much needed gap for Asian identifying individuals seeking community and advocacy at MSU, as well as into the greater Gallatin Valley. Asia also helps promote a safe space for cultural understanding for non-Asian identifying MSU students, faculty, and staff, both which are actionable items with the MSU Diversity and Inclusion Framework, which better our MSU community. And for the rest of my time with you all, I really want to talk with you guys about the pathway of impact, using Asia's story to inspire motivated purpose in your own organizations or future organizations. Growing into impact, the change first begins with you, where you are comfortable and confident in your abilities for self-leadership. It is then followed by the support of others, where vulnerability to ask for help becomes your strength through the help of others. And finally, the cherry on top of it all is the beauty of leading together and embracing it proudly as an organization. And so first, starting with the change begins with you. That initial change is the initial spark that you feel of what difference you want to make in your community. And as for Asia, our timeline, as you can see here, it started out in October of 2020, where I went to the DISC and reached out for a cultural community. As Filipino American, there wasn't an association that really fit my box, so to speak. And so talking with the DISC, I was connected with a lot of amazing individuals by December of 2020. And it was individuals from undergrads, from graduates, and that's something that's very unique about Asia, is that we have a pretty equal amount of undergraduates and graduate students in our association, as well as a lot of community members who are very active and community supporters. And so in December of 2020, we finally established an officer team. In January of 2021, we finalized our advisor, set up our outreach and widespread reach out to the community, and registered with the OSE. And then February of 2021, we officially became a student organization at MSU and began our meetings, which during this time was COVID, and so all of it was virtual. But it was a very much needed time because, especially during our establishment, that timeline really lined up with the rise of AAPI hate and many of those actions and incidences of that time, and even currently occur on our campus. And so having our establishment at a very crucial time was very important to help support the students at MSU as well as community for that advocacy key point that Asia really emphasizes throughout all of our work. And oh, sorry, I think I might have missed the slide. And so as we leaders make larger impacts in our communities and our organizations, being comfortable with asking for help is very vulnerable, but it is so needed in order to make the impact that we envision. And as student organizations, we also receive a very generous funding from OSC, which is a tremendous help for our associations, as we all know. However, for student organizations, we're envisioning a very large event while the funds for OSC are already budgeted for general meetings, such as for food or for activities. It can make the resources very limited into making those dreams into reality. But I'm here to tell you it is so possible to make those dreams of your organization into a reality. You will find there's so much more help both inside the MSU campus and outside in the community than you realize when you become vulnerable and ask for that help. And it is so important as student organizations to understand our resources, because resources can come as connections with other student organizations or on campus in the broader Bozeman community, and even nationally. Some organizations that I've been connected with also reach out nationally. And so over the past 2 years, Asia has received so much support from MSU sponsors. And here are just a few who contributed financially and provided Asia with the resources to put on the many events that we have done in the past 2 years. And the range of this type of support has been from printing costs or direct budgeting, such as donating $1,500 to $1,000 to whichever activity that is, for catering. And so all of these organizations, and even if it's just marketing, these organizations and programs and departments across MSU really help support us into making those dreams a huge hit for everyone, and to create that sense of community, and also bringing the awareness of the diversity of Asian cultures on our campus and in the whole state. And here are just a few community collaborators and sponsors. The Country Bookshelf, I'll be showing some pictures later, but they help support our Asian Mythology and Folklore Night. They came and promoted some Asian books at their company, and the Steep Mountain Tea House has been a frequent supporter of ours, allowing us to have discounted chai, both for our Eid celebration, and I believe also for a few other of our events where we've had a great gathering. The Yellow Whistle is actually a national organization we're the first distributor of the Yellow Whistle in the whole state of Montana. And it's a symbol of speaking out against Asian racism and xenophobic rhetoric. And so at our events and at our tabling events, we distribute these yellow whistles along with a card to bring more information about resources for individuals in the community if they are experiencing racism, and what we can do and what the Yellow Whistle can do, and also other organizations for help. We've also partnered with the Islamic Center of Bozeman, who is, we partnered with them for the Eid celebration. They are the local mosque and Muslim community here in Bozeman. CC Gourmet and Metasate, I'm sure you guys have hopefully tried their food trucks before. Absolutely amazing businesses, Asian owned. We've partnered with them. CC Gourmet a lot of times, and Metasate just this past year with the Asian Mythology and Folklore Night. XY Planning is a group that we met at the Bozeman Community Fair, and as again, one of our missions is to really include the community in everything we do. And so XY Planning is an amazing resource that we met at that Bozeman Community Fair, and they have offered their support through volunteer service through our events. Senator John Tester, we reached out for the Eid celebration to kind of have a statement of diversity and inclusion in the whole state of Montana. And finally, the Gallatin Valley Land Trust, which we have partnered with twice since our establishment for that Asian mythology and folklore night, which I'll show pictures later because it's such a great hit for everyone. And then for student partners and affiliations, here is everyone. For the most part, I know I'm also missing a lot of people, and all the previous slides too. There's just so many individuals and organizations, programs, departments that have supported us that honestly can't really fit on the screen, and that's why we're just so grateful for all the support we've had in these past 2 years. But for Asia and student partners, we have had a multicultural barbecue 2 years now, where we've partnered with a lot of different cultural organizations to bring, it normally happens in the fall semester, to really have a center of inclusion and also just a welcome for new students, community members, and just students seeking that community. The DISC has been there since day one, supported us, and we have partnered with them with a lot of many things, and they have also helped us with our advertising. The Voice Center, always a great resource for us, especially during that first semester when we were here, and there was a rise of AAPI hate. And the MSU Police Department, which we are the first, I believe, cultural organization or possibly student organization to participate in the Adopt a Cop program. And our Adopt Cop is Officer Mark Kletke, and he has been a outstanding. If any of you have had the opportunity to meet him at some of our events, he is an outstanding resource for all of our students, and has, in any situation, whatever it might be, we have his immediate contact, and all students, he is on our webpage publicly for any student to reach out to in case they have any need that needs to be met, or in any safety, discrimination, they could always go to him. And because he comes to all of our events, and so by having that friendly face, we hope that it will limit students avoiding contacting the MSU Police Department in any situation that they might be in. And lastly, the beauty of leading together. And so whether you're a student organization a few years in, there are what I like to think of like probably the 3 most common challenges that I've seen, at least my 2 years with Asia and as a student organization. And those 3 challenges I think are most common is burnout, funding, and membership involvement. And while I wish I could say these get easier, honestly, these challenges, they don't as the years go on. It's just like a never-ending battle. But what I have learned is fostering a large team of support with passionate and motivated individuals decreases the severity of these common challenges we all face in a student volunteer-based organization. Because the beauty of leading together is you can distribute that weight. And so for Asia, we have about 12 leaders on our team, and this officer setup, such as how we have all the different officer roles, these are constantly changing, constantly evolving, depending on the current needs of the student body and organization, as well as the style of leadership. And so Asia has 4 branches of our leadership. We have the executive branch, which makes up the president, vice president, and secretary. And then we have the outreach, which makes up the director of outreach, as well as PRCs. The ambassadorial team, which is including the head ambassador and club ambassadors. And then finally, our support team, which is our advisor and alumni advisor. And so Asia today, we honestly, we're so grateful for everything that we've been through and all the support that we have had. And now I'm just going to be going over pretty much where we are today, and going over some pictures and just kind of going down memory lane, so to speak, of everything that we've done. And so this was actually at our first meeting this year, fall 2022. And our general meetings really range from a lot of things. We try to get the input of students, but just a few examples is we participated in the pilgrimages around the world, which was a culinary class that was being taught here at MSU, and in partnership with them, we were able to receive discounted tickets for the Asian countries that they were highlighting. And so they had like Tibet, Nepal, Saudi Arabia, and so we partnered with them to get discounted tickets in order to participate in that amazing experience. And I'm really hoping they do it again this year. I don't know what their theme might be, but if you guys have the chance, I really recommend supporting that class, and just the culinary department is really outstanding work that they do. And another example is we went to see Shang-Chi all together at the cinemas. And this was another picture at our recent Thanksgiving feast that we had this year. And so this was our first Indian night that we had. We did it in partnership with the Indian Student Association. And if you had the opportunity to attend, it was such a grand event where we had, I think it was around 300 or so individuals. We're having a similar setup event coming up in April, the Asian Multicultural Night, where we're anticipating 300 to 400 attendees for that. It's going to be pretty similar, where there's going to be performances, singing, dancing, as well as a fashion show and activities and food. And so this event was honestly probably one of the highlights of the year for Asia. Just so many people were in attendance, and all the partnerships that were going on. It was just such a wonderful event. And this is our Asian Mythology and Folklore Night, which we have done twice since our establishment, and has always been a big hit, not only because both times that there has been free beer, both from Outlaw Brewing the first year and Map Brewing this year, but Gallatin Valley Land Trust, our partnership with them, they have just offered us a wonderful space during spooky season. And so in October, we have had an Asian Mythology and Folklore Night where we share some spooky stories that have been passed down from our families in respective cultures, as well as people who want to share some experiences and stories that they know of Asian cultures. And so this year, we also partnered with Metasate and Cece's Gourmet, so we have food trucks, beer, Country Bookshelf was there. And while it was cold, especially cold this year, you can see there's a little bit still some snow on that ground. We actually had to clear all of that about 30 minutes before everyone came, and so that was quite the experience. But we always partner with some community members to bring in little fire pits to hopefully keep everyone warm. Last year was a lot warmer than this year, but people always make it and show up because I honestly think it's one of the community's most favorite events, and hopefully we can continue it in years to come. This was our first ever event during the fall semester when we just became a student organization. Actually, our first in-person meeting. We had virtual meetings, but this was our first time at Happy Box, and we did some karaoke. This is the multicultural barbecue, where all of the different student organizations who want to participate, we all kind of cook a few dishes, and it's just kind of more of a potluck. I wouldn't say it's a barbecue. We call it a barbecue, but honestly, it's more of a potluck. MSU Culinary Services let us use the Hannon Kitchen this year, and so that was such a great help to be able to have access to those larger pots and pans. Eid al-Fitr, which was another community event that we had, partnering with the Islamic Center of Bozeman. We had henna, we had a talk, and also just food, and it was such a wonderful event to be able to offer this space for Muslim students as well as the Muslim community in Bozeman to have that space, especially on the MSU campus, to celebrate. And the South Asian New Year was another festival that we had, highlighting, you can see President Cruzado in the picture there. She came and was in attendance, and we had food, I think, was catered by Pakiza, and yeah, we were just highlighting the different South Asian cultures and how they celebrate the New Year. And finally, with MSU student organizations being centered on belonging and community, whether that be culture, dance, board games, or music, or sports, I kind of wanted to end in closing to the mission of Asia, and wanted to share a very short story on the importance of fostering community in our own as well as neighboring communities. All right. All right. So yeah, that's everything that I have to share with you guys. Thank you again for those who are watching. I'm just so thankful again for everyone at the MSU community and Bozeman. I can speak for our whole team that we are just so overwhelmed with gratitude by everyone's support. And I'm always, always open to continuing this conversation. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me by my personal email or asia.montanastate@gmail.com. I'm always at the Steep Mountain Tea House, so always looking to chat. Please hit me up and we can meet up. If you're interested on what are the steps to start a student organization, if that's something you're interested in doing, I'm here to be a resource, so please reach out. And anyways, thank you guys so much, and please reach out. Thank you.